Test, test.
That's fine.
Richard, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
No.
Okay. Let's see here.
Is something on your end, Mindy?
No.
I tested my mic.
It looks like he's talking.
Is there
Yeah,
volume
he-
or something, maybe?
I think his volume's either down or he might be muted.
Was one if our volume might be down.
Hmm. No.
Because it was going up and down on his end. Now it's off.
I'm worth 2, so they ought to be at 4. Save the day.
Never been happier to see you.
Oh, man. I was beginning to wonder, there's 3 dogs having a fight across the street over there, and I said, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Like in the park? No, well, the owners were out there with leashes trying to get a hold of them, but
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I have it unmuted now, Richard. Can you hear? I keep muting
Oh,
it because we're
okay.
live on YouTube, but I can't. Can you hear us? Can you shake your head? Yes. Okay, I can't hear you though.
You just wanted to listen anyway. We know.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you ready?
Give me 1 second. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will call the EDC meeting to order. It's Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, and the time is 6 o'clock. First on the agenda is consent agenda. We have reading of the minutes from September 20th, 2022 and December 20th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for September the 20th and December the 20th, 2022.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Would you poll the board?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Any citizens' comments? We don't have anybody here. You don't have anything?
No, sir.
All right, discussion items. Item A, update on Hannah Ranch Development and Mesa Precast. New company.
Just wanted to give you a couple updates on those two projects. Hannah Ranch. We met with one of the developers. And they have started taking out permits to start building the homes over there. So they're gonna start out building 5 to 6 homes a month. And then increase that or stay on that kind of a schedule. The homes on average will be about $300,000 each. And the only issue we have right now is we're still waiting on Encore to get all the electric over there. And we're still waiting for water meters to catch up for supply and demand. Water meters are tough to get right now.
Wow.
So we're asking them to give us a heads up on when they're building homes so we can order water meters and hopefully keep the supply here to keep them going so we don't see a stall in that direction. But other than that, you'll see some homes start popping up over there at Hannah Ranch real soon. But they've taken out the permits to start building. All the infrastructure is completed. So we're kind of excited about that. Any questions about Hannah Ranch?
And how many homes will it be?
202.
202. Now, I have a quick question. Is there would there be a road that leads from Roy C. Brooks to Forest Hill Drive?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
There won't be any direct routes.
Yeah.
Somebody would have to work their way through that
Yeah,
neighborhood. to get-
there'll be a work for it.
But that was done intentionally, so we didn't want it.
I've just
thoroughfare
always
through there.
wondered that.
Yeah, we're worried about speeders going, if it was just a one road direct link kind of thing, we were worried about, people getting on their speed racing or doing all that kind of stuff. So there will be a way to get through there, but they're gonna have to do a lot of jobs.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
And then the other project is Advanced Architectural Stone has acquired another business out of Arizona. Mesa Precast. The actual name, the new name for that company is going to be American Masonry Supply. I mentioned that to you at the last meeting, I believe. But they've also taken out the permit. They have already cleared the land and are getting ready to start putting up that facility. It's a 32,400 square foot building. 6,000 square feet of that will be 2 stories of office space. And then the rest of it will be a working plant. And they're going to bring in 50 new employees to the city. So it's another project that we're pretty excited about. And they are as well. Advanced Architectural Stone says their business is going really, really well right now. So that's good news.
The same location?
It'll be right there at King and Roy C. Brooks. If you go by there, you'll see the space, they've cleared it out. More so alongside Roy C. Brooks. And Mayor, you and I were talking about this today, but they've got a lot of parking built into that as well.
Is there? Okay.
Yes.
That was my only concern was parking,
Yes. So any questions about that?
Since there are a lot of businesses and stuff that are and with their homes and stuff being there on Roy C. Brooks, will they ever consider putting a stoplight?
Hope so. We need a couple of stoplights in this city. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
I hope so. They also took out a permit for, I'm going back to Hannah Ranch, they took out a permit for the wall barrier. They're gonna put in a noise barrier wall all up Roy C. Brooks and down was that Bell, down Bell Street? Is that Bell Street?
Yeah.
What was that again?
Is that Bell Street where Hannah Ranch is?
Yes,
Yeah, so Bell and Roy C. Brooks.
where the four-way is.
So the permits are coming in and we're starting to see things go up. So we're excited about all that. These projects take a long time sometimes to get off the ground. Once all that preliminary work is done, they're ready to move. So
Hey, Mike,
Any other questions or discussion?
hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Okay, next item is item 7, consideration possible action. Item A, discussion and consideration of motion to approve a $10,000 big application for advanced architectural stone.
That's
They
that's the fence, right?
Now, this
That's, is that the new fence? They're gonna tear one down and put another one up?
it's entryway, isn't it?
yes, it's their whole entryway, but it does include the fencing. So their total cost is well over the 10,000. It's well over $20,000. So they're asking for the $10,000 big grant to do all that stone work. They're going to put in a really nice entryway to their facility. They're really trying to dress it up over there. They did change their name because they used to be Advanced Cast Stone and now it's Advanced Architectural Stone. So that's part of it because their entryway still reads the old name. So so they're asking for the $10,000 grant to get that project done.
So are they replacing or is this new?
They're replacing it all.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, now didn't they get a big grant for fencing?
They did the parking lot, when the city conveyed that land to
Right.
them for that new parking lot. I think that was like a $7,000 grant is what it wound up being, was the dollar match.
Okay.
So yes.
I think it's funny. They're gonna pay somebody to come in and do stone work. When you would think they could construct something that would be nicer than that with the
Well,
kind of work they do.
I think they're gonna do a lot of that stone work and they're gonna pay somebody to do some of it, but you know, they still gotta do all those molds and everything else.
Yeah.
It's still costly. So because even when they donated to us for the memorial park, they donated all those monuments, but we still paid the mold fees and all that, so.
Okay, do you have any more information on that or?
Nope. You have it, well.
I believe there was
Y'all have that in front of you, or did you read it in the email?
What is that?
The big grant application?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And then there was the drawing, so. Well, if there's any other discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, can you hear us now?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that means y'all can hear me.
Yes.
Awesome. You got it.
You
I
have any-
thought he was muted. Oh, go ahead, Richard.
I think they muted you intentionally.
I think so. No, I think that the volume in City Hall was probably off or something like that. We're good though.
Did you have anything to say on the big program?
No, sir, y'all asked everything I was wondering.
Okay. So
Motion and a second.
somebody want to make a motion?
I move,
Was there one?
No, we hadn't made a motion yet.
Uh-uh.
I move that we approve the application.
Second.
Okay, so motion been made and seconded. Do we have any other further discussion? Did you poll the council, pull the board?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item B, discussion and consideration of motion to approve $11,300 for a city facilities master plan concept from Grossman Design Build. Craig, feel free to chime in on this.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. As most of y'all know, the city had developed a master plan when Craig became city manager. And that encompassed a lot of different projects. But one of the things that the city is going to be facing in the next few years is city facilities. Our public works department is in horrible condition, the building over there. We've had a lot of problems with City Hall, as you know. So make a long story short, Craig is wanting to do some type of a master plan he contacted Grossman Design Build, who built our Civic Center, to see if they could come up with a concept for new city facilities sometime in the future, and how to deal with all of that. So before you, you have their bid to do that. And we have room in our EDC budget to pay for that, the cost of that project. We would have to do a budget amendment to do it, but we do have the money. But we think it's important to get all of these issues out there and laid out in front of us so that we can plan for the future, not only for what's needed, but financially, we need to plan for the future as well. As you know, the city has the TIF fund, the tax increment financing fund, that we established a few years ago. That money's never been touched. And it's about $500,000 right now. But when Hannah Ranch, when that project is completed and some of these other projects are completed that lie within that TIF zone, that budget, that money is going to grow significantly rather quickly. And you can use that type of money for infrastructure projects or city facilities within the district, or when it comes to city or governmental buildings, you can do it outside that boundary line. So I don't know that that's the money that's going to be used to do this. It's certainly available if that's, if that comes to fruition. The city may have enough money in their budget to do some of these projects, because with all of these new projects starting, get out there now and start to be built, the city budget's going to grow as well. So nobody knows the answer to those questions right now, how you're going to finance all of that. But the one thing we do know is that we need to plan for it, and we need to see what we need to do to get where we need to be for the future of the city. So Craig, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is, when we talk about city facilities, we're talking about citizen services as well, which certainly pertains back to economic development. Associated with this, one of the things that Mike and I have talked about is really being able to take the information that we get from this and having Grossman Design Build helping us throughout this process, really put together a marketing package that will help advertise and market the city of Everman to attract appropriate businesses that are going to increase sales tax revenue, property tax revenue, and ultimately allowing us to lower our property tax. So it all lines up with the same goals that we've had in mind for the last 3 years. I think as a result of this, we'll get a lot of very solid information that'll allow us to appropriately plan for the future. This is one of those things where we've talked about how we need a new city hall. We need a new public works facility. We need a new, or at least an updated or expanded library. We need park facility improvements. We need to be able to expand on our services, but it is so difficult to put a price tag on that without hiring consultants to come in, help design or get a preliminary design, get things put into play, and then put a cost estimate to it. That's never been done in the city before, where we've evaluated our city services and how we're delivering it and the facilities that we're using it. So this will just give us that opportunity to really push this forward.
Are we going to include the museum building in that concept?
This is an entire city facilities project. So we met with Grossman at one meeting. The museum did come up as a part of that, but really any and all city facilities that need improvements will be incorporated into that master plan. So yes, this will include the museum, parks, baseball fields, library, anything that is a citizen service essentially will be under this umbrella.
Animal control?
Animal control, yes, sir.
Most
Okay.
definitely animal control.
Why is the Civic Center on here?
I'm trying. The Civic Center is on the proposal.
Yes.
Yeah, it is on there, but it won't be included. Obviously.
Okay, now you talk about a pavilion stage at the park. Which park are you referring to?
The one immediately adjacent to the Civic Center. One of the things that we've talked about with the Civic Center is hosting weddings and events and venues there. We have our annual Celebrate America Festival, but we're constantly having to get outside resources to bring stages in to host those kinds of events. Having one there already built would be extremely beneficial. It would save us money on our events, and it would be an available asset that we could rent out as a part of the use of the facilities. So if somebody wanted to have an outside wedding, they'd be able to use a beautiful pavilion outside and have their reception immediately inside without having to have two different locations. We've talked a lot about wanting to do Hispanic heritage festivals and having a music festival. We've talked a lot about doing other events outside, and having that pavilion there would be certainly an asset to our events in the community.
Okay, for general layout and parking for all buildings, what all?
Well, for all the city facilities that we're going to have to look at building, we're gonna have to address the parking issues too. You know, how many parking spaces are needed, where those parking spaces are going to be. You know, easy access for our citizens to get where they need to go. And at the same time, appropriate parking for all of our employees, like the police department. You know, that there's issues right now with all of the parking for the city employees, where they're gonna park. So all of that would be addressed.
Okay, now it mentions, it says new stage event area, but have you ever thought about possibly having a, sporting event arena, building or something like that?
Like an indoor sports venue.
Yes.
I don't think I've been engaged in any conversation about that. Have you, Craig? Or?
No, and to be honest with you, Councilwoman, I think this is one of the areas with a town our size, we have to be very careful. I love the idea and I want to pursue the idea, but this is where I think we need to do a better job as a city of engaging in these public-private partnerships, because we just simply don't have the manpower, the staffing, or the ability to oversee a project like that and run it like an enterprise would. Certainly something we need to bring here, but this master plan, with the marketing that we'll be able to develop from this master plan, will help us engage in those public-private partnerships to bring those kinds of things in, so we have a thriving business that comes in, is successful, and provides additional resources to the citizens here.
Okay, is this outlined as in phases, or any of the items going to be like priority or something like that?
So the master plan is just going to detail out. Think of it as a dream map. It's just going to be a dream map with some cost estimates to each project. That will give us the information to bring back to the EDC, to bring back to the city council, to then make informed decisions about how we move forward. So we talk about, museum improvements. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We talk about museum improvements, animal control facility improvements, city hall improvements, but without knowing the price tag essentially associated with all that, it's very hard for us to sit back and make an informed decision, and for the council to sit back and make an informed decision about, okay, what's our priority? What can we afford to do? And when can we afford to do it? So this is just getting us the information that's needed to make those informed decisions going forward.
Okay, so he's going to go through and break each project down and give you a price of what that project would possibly cost.
Yes.
Yes.
This be similar to a future use
Yes.
type plan for the
That's
city.
exactly what it is.
Right.
So. Yeah, we know we have buildings that need to be replaced, so. And it'll be up to us to decide what order those things come in, or if we do them at all, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to the original master plan that y'all did a little over a year ago, it was the same thing. We put all that out there and what all those estimates, and then everybody prioritized what we needed to hit. And there's still a lot of things left on that list, but this is the same kind of concept.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. At our next meeting, could you possibly give us, has any money been coming in from the loan that was made for the Civic Center?
Yes. So yes, yeah, I can certainly get you guys an updated summary of that. Performance on rentals has been higher than expected. So originally the agree well, and I don't want to say there's any sort of official agreement. This has been more of like a handshake and what our intention is until we get to the point that city council actually approves doing this. But the shared intention and my recommendation is any excess revenue above and beyond of what was anticipated and budgeted for the year, we want to allocate those funds towards the tax note payment that the EDC took out to soften the expense coming out of the EDC fund towards that. Currently, I think we've got, and Mindy can attest to this because Mindy has literally spent hours and hours every week at the Civic Center giving tours, helping guide them through the rental process. We have got rentals, I think, every weekend from now through July. Every weekend we have a rental happening at our Civic Center. And each one of those rentals, if it's a full day rental, you can anticipate at least a $2,000 revenue for each one of those rentals, plus any additional fees that may be collected, any of the rentals of the tablecloths, the alcohol permits, those kinds of things. So we are certainly on target to make very good revenue from the Civic Center above and beyond what we originally budgeted. So we do believe that we'll offset the 72,000 that was allocated from EDC funds this year and be able to reduce that actual expenditure by the end of the year.
Any other discussion?
Do we have any because it says for the current properties owned by the city? Do we have any current properties that are empty where they will be designing, or would it be only on properties that have existing buildings?
It can be both. We do have a couple. I don't want to say that they're empty properties. We do have one vacant property located there near Race and Enon. We also have some other properties that aren't developed or have an older development or abandoned building or something along those lines on them. We have a few of those. Unfortunately, none of those properties are really ideal locations or anything of any just size that would warrant, I think, us reviewing a project on it. I think these are more properties that we would look to utilize as a tool in an economic negotiation of some sort. And Mike likes to keep as many of those as he can in his back pocket to help out in bringing in these new businesses. But we do have one piece of property right there at Race and Enon. It's catty corner from the library, immediately adjacent to the First Baptist Church there. That is certainly one piece of property that we've talked about looking at potential of either using. We've talked about needing additional parking facility for city facilities, maybe using it for that. We've talked about moving facilities over there and building something there. So all that is feasible.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Just to clarify this, the 11,300 is covering cost of the master plan.
Yes.
Okay, and this additional 2,500 if we want 3D.
Yeah,
that what that
that's
is?
actually in that 11,000. You to do the general concept plan, it would be 8,800.
Mhm.
And then if you add the 2,500 to it, it's the 11,300 that I have on there. And the reason why I'd like to see you do that is because I'm sure most of you have seen 3D renderings. When, I'm a visionary guy, and I know most people are. And the more you can show people in a visionary way that they can actually see and understand what they're looking at, the better, that people understand it. And so to me, a 3D rendering is definitely worth the money if we're going to do a project of this nature to give it that appeal.
Well, let me add on to that. It's
Right.
not just a 3D rendering, it's actually a 3D video. So they will create a three-dimensional video that kind of walks you through the master plan of the city, showing you the proposed, city hall and library facility and animal control facility, bringing all that to a visionary life, which will help. And that's part of that marketing material we've talked about, hey, look at what we're doing here in Everman. We've got the support to be able to do this. These are all in our plans. To be able to attract those businesses that want to come in and be a part of the city.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
the 3D. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. The 3D is definitely needed because, with this, we're trying to really portray our vision to everybody else. And, for us to get our vision out there, it has to be visual. People won't really get it if they see lines and a few numbers on a piece of paper. So a 3D video would be great.
Okay, now wouldn't we have to tell him what it is that we want for him to make the plan? So when would that happen?
We've met with them on a preliminary basis, so yeah, we would meet with them again and cover everything. Extensively to make sure that everything that we want to see in it is in it, so.
we would plan to host meetings with city council, meetings with the staff, identify the needs, and then share all those needs with them for them to go back and formulate a plan. One thing I want to be clear of is what they design is not necessarily the building plans or the architectural plans. It's just a concept, meaning that it is completely open to be changed as we look to move forward. Our goal is obviously to stick with a certain standard and try to meet the needs. But as we go forward with building plans and architectural plans, there's all kinds of other things to consider with the engineering codes, building codes that will require changes. And there may be things that, when we get this plan approved and done, it may be 8 months to a year before we actually have this master plan back, which means it may also be 3 or 4 years later before we're ready to start taking action. There may be a change in our operations. There may be a change in what the need is. So we may have to make adjustments to it. So this is just a concept to give us an idea, to give us a rough price tag on what it's going to cost so that we can make informed decisions about how to move forward.
Okay, now see, it says it's 3 revisions included, and that's out of all the projects or each project of.
To the master plan. So we can make 3 revisions to the master plan itself. So, and the way we would typically do that is when we think about a revision, we would make a note and we would wait until we have several revisions to make before then going back with Grossman and making 1 revision to the master plan. And then that would still leave us with 2 more revisions in the future.
Are we ready to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Do we have any other discussion? Did you poll the board?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, executive session, we have none. So the time is 6:28. We are adjourned.
Hey, Mayor, real quick before you step out, the one thing I wanted to add, I couldn't speak, but I don't know if Mike shared with you guys. We got the plans back on that retaining wall that he was talking about. They're actually planning on putting in a beautiful monument wall that's going to enter into the neighborhood as well. And they're also going to be adding a water feature fountain at the entrance. So it'll be a very, very nice, beautiful sound wall, essentially, that will line Royce C. Brooks there. So just wanted to share that with you. I just got to review the plans yesterday, and it's a beautiful looking project. I'm excited about that wall.
I can send that to you all.
Is that right where the monument is, the sign is now? Or
Is it Lee Street and Royce C. Brooks?
where is it gonna go, Craig?
Yes, I believe it's near Lee Street and Royce C. Brooks. It's not called Lee on their side, but it's near that. Yes, sir. And we can share that with you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are adjourned. So I'll see you tomorrow, Craig.
See you then. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.